Hello everybody, and a very warm welcome back to Apex Racing and Chill. My name is Zabi, and we are live with another round, and it is here at the Red Bull Ring in Austria. This is round 8 of the 12-round championship. We've got interesting things coming up into the weekend in terms of championship fight, and we've got three new drivers in here, along with a brand new team. So we just got outright on the track for right now, and we'll go over to racing in a little bit. But just before we go racing or into qualifying, let's have a look at the championship standings, followed by the new team that we've got tonight, which actually is formed by the two newbie drivers who are brand new around here and are currently racing for the very first time and have got themselves a team. So that's an interesting thing to see. You know, if they probably just came in, so finding a team could have been difficult, but they've got a team on their hands. And great to see you, Kane, and definitely would love to have you back soon. I think you missed quite a couple of races, unfortunately, but hopefully it'll be nice to see you soon. So just let's have a look out on the track, rather. And there we go. That is going to be in front of a screen, the Drivers' Championship right there. And look at the gap between the top two. Ryan Cooper and GT is only separated by 6 points. Courtesy the brilliant and fantastic racing weekends from GT. The last two race weekends, 94 points out of 100 at Interlagos for him, and 100 the previous round at Spa. We've got 5 minutes, actually 8 minutes in total before qualifying right there. So let's see what now looking at this top two, 600 points and 606 points right there, heading into Red Bull Ring around round 8 of the 12-round championship. But interesting races coming up ahead. So RLD then in P3 with 585 and 504 with 504, sorry, for Empty Ned. Then it is C. Jones with 474 in the 5th place. 6th place comes Smoke Dog with 460, nearly 29 points ahead of Umpire Voters on 431, just ahead of Nitu, who's got 413 points, with Page on 392, 10 ahead of Wolf, who's on 382, with Lacendra de Silva on 322 and 254 for Monte Carlos. And we have Dylan from the previous week. He scored 80 points. That is a brilliant debut, not to forgetting Kane, who hasn't joined us just yet, and Mickey, along with Smokey Tom, who are the new two drivers. Before we move over to the Teams Championship, this is going to be your brand new Constructors team, ladies and gentlemen. This is your new team reveal. New Constructors team formed by the two newbies, Freedom Fighters Motorsports, FFM, as they'd go by the name. So that is going to be interesting to see, but obviously they're not in the Constructor Championship just yet, since it's their first race. But here are the standings looking like in this session before going into the race and qualifying. Nimti squad lead up ahead of Apex Originals by with 1,110 points to their name, with Apex Originals who've got 1,016 points. Chemistry Racing's got 934, exactly as Pures Racing, so that could be a bit of an interesting fight between Carl, Smoke, and Ryan and Lacendra Silva. So that's could be interesting. With Team Papaya, they've got 647, and Nitu has over 400 points in that team. Along with that, now looking at Racing Hones, who are in the second last place with 635 points. Then it is Team Payne, who've got 456 points. That's going to be the end then of the championship. We should be getting out on the track in a couple of minutes in qualifying. We're out on track already, but we are not yet out on the track in qualifying. So how are our drivers doing so far? Dylan had a brilliant race. Chapman from the previous race, and still here in practice he's P2. less than a tenth slower than GT, who was our pole sitter, I believe. I'll need to go as fastest here in the practice session. Obviously, it's only a practice session, but these times do reflect, and these times do reflect quite nicely sometimes into qualifying, or even better. Some drivers are able to go from their qualifying times or RLD, actually find themselves in the gravel so far. Lissandro at the moment in P5, Nimtina in P6. How are our new drivers doing here? Mickey is in P9, while Smoke Tom is in P10, and we don't yet have one more driver, I'd say. We have 3 new drivers for the night. Well, the 2 are in a team. The 2 have got a team to themselves, while Mickey has not got a team just yet. But all right, sorry, it's actually Dylan. Yeah, sorry, I forgot. Actually, it was Dylan. Dylan obviously raced previous week as well, I'd say, Chapman, but he's in the new team. That was my error. So Chapman and their teammate Smoke Tom, the 2 FFM teammates there. So Freedom Motorsport. That's a decent name, actually. Not gonna lie. What about Jones? They've remember they're in the team with the chemistry racing team with Smoke Dog. Smoke Dog, they should be, well, need to in Team Papaya find themselves in towards the gravel. So only a couple of minutes before we head into qualifying. I'll let you guys hear the sound of these cars for a little bit before we just jump on the track as soon as possible. It won't be too long now. It should be just 3 minutes, and as soon as those 3 minutes have passed, we'll be on the track and out for qualifying. The drivers would get ready to set up a lap time on board, and then only then we could know if these practice times are any representative, any better, or would we be seeing even better times. Not too long now, not too long to go before we'd be out on the track right very moment soon. I think any moment we pretty much should be out on the track anyways, is by the looks of it, you know, just one more minute of what time we were given to get out on the track so far. So eventually, as soon as we have any information, we'd let you guys know. But Nito at the moment is at the top of the timing chart so far. Remember, another Formula 1 track. So sure, Interlagos is an F1 track as well, but you know, Nito got pole at Spa. That was in those FW 3500s, I believe. That's what those cars are called, if I'm not mistaken. But those classic Formula 1 cars race we had at Spa. He was the fastest in qualifying. Unfortunately, he couldn't cope up with mistakes and gave up a lot of race positions because of that. But otherwise, he had a brilliant weekend apart from the race. Obviously, considering only the race. But now look at this. We are here out on the track and ready to go in qualifying, and it is night time, so that is interesting. to see right there. I'm just not sure whether it'll go from you know, this time to dark, or from here the sun will rise and we will see some sun out on the track. So we're about to find out, but look at that, drivers already out on the track, one after the other right there so far. Well, Wolf is in the pits along with Smoky Tom is in the pits as well. What about Lisandro, who's in P11? Obviously these are no times have been yet posted by the drivers, but who's at the front ahead of everybody? And that is One Parawood, ladies and gentlemen, for Apex Original Racing, is ahead of everyone who's currently looking to start a lap. Well, obviously everybody behind is, but he's timed it nicely there, because looking at every single one of these drivers, they sure come out right behind one another, but I'm sure sometimes you could get impeded, and if you do, that certainly does not give you the best of chances to do a good lap here, because you know, and by the looks, so it looks like we probably are gonna go see a sun race from here, because I could see some clouds and somewhat sun was around there, unless it's deciding to set now. But look at that, ooh, a bit of a moment. But yeah, that's what I'm saying. Basically, you know, One Parawood in a moment of his own. Same goes for pretty much Monty as well. So possibly everybody's going to give each other time, enough gap on the track. But if they're unable to do so, basically what happens is, I know that, you know, all these guys are trying to get the slipstream. They're trying to get a slipstream for themselves, but certainly, at least for the first run in qualifying, I think being alone might be just better there. 23-0 from One Parawood. How good will Monte Carlos be? 22-9. That is interesting. Monte Carlos is better. 22-9. Same goes for RLD as well. A couple of other drivers right there now making their way through the end of the first sector. So, as I was saying, some better than the others. And 23-2. So, as One Parawood, despite being on his own, actually was not at least the quickest in that first sector, from some of the drivers there. What about him in this middle sector here? How good will his time be at the end of it? And that'll be 102.969. What about Monte Carlos? He'll be the next driver to cross it. 102.7. That's going to be a decent one. What about from Monte Carlo, from RLD? 102.692. So we are seeing some decent times. E2 might have gotten crossed over the line already. And what about One Parawood, the very first driver to go over the line and set up a benchmark time for everyone else to beat, which this times we've seen 130.8, and that time should be beatable easily. But will Monte Carlos beat it? Yes, he will. 30.4. What about RLD? He's got a penalty, so that's not going to be much different. Meanwhile, GT jumps up to P4, P2, and so far Chapman's going to jump over to P1 ahead of One Parawood there. What about Lisandro? He's going to be the next car over the line. Stays P5. Only 0.003 of a second slower than One Parawood, and look at that. So these are the 5 drivers who have got a time on the board so far, and that is Chapman, only in his second race right here, has got themselves up to the top of the timing charts so far, and almost 2:10s. Over 2:10s ahead of Monte Carlos there, actually. So that is interesting now, as Jones going to be heading towards slight bit towards the wall, and I certainly think he did hit the wall, but not sure what it was, because simply as soon as we switched up to their car, they actually, you know, they rapidly came back out of the track. So I'm not exactly sure what happened, but Mickey now in their car. They're another brand new driver as well, but they're without a team at the moment. They currently see themselves in P4. Who is going to be the next car over the line? That'll be Smoke over the line. That's Smokey, but they're just going to be starting their flying lap actually at the moment, so certainly they will not be completing a lap right there. We will have a driver in the pits. That is One Parawood, while Monte Carlos will be on the track right there to go over the line. Do they find an improvement right there? No, a 10th down, slower, 10th and a half slower than their previous lap time. Now is Wolf going to be doing as he makes his way around the final corner now? Do we see any drivers get better than their time? Well, Wolf is going to be setting up a time on the board. So that is P7. They go up to 132.6 so far. How good will that be? a little bit wide goes Wolf there. Right now, we've got drivers, we've got 9 drivers actually to put up the time on the board so far. Not more than that though. We've got 13 drivers racing tonight. I'm sure we've got a lot of time. I mean, only 5.5 minutes remaining at the moment. Who's going to be the next 2 cars over the line? That'll be Mickey, who goes better than their previous time. What about, I should believe that would have been GT. Yes, indeed. That is GT right behind Mickey, but I wonder if they went better than their previous time right here or not. Certainly it says 127.0, but I'm assuming definitely they would have probably cut the corners or something to get that out lap. Obviously there was an out lap, so I think that should actually be slow anyways. Well, in the first sector, GT is fastest so far. You know, Chapman's time is the quickest at the moment. Nobody is yet able to get closer to Chapman there. Who's going to be the next car ahead of that pack, and that's going to be Smoke Dog. He's nearly going to lose the car and almost just catches it back again, and he'll have to let Smoke get past him, because that could be tricky. And that actually was not Smoke, that would have been Chapman over the line, and he will not improve a second down on his time. I think that could have been compromised by that slight bit of movement from Smoke Dog, who's almost lost the car, got the car back in control, but possible outcome would have been the drivers behind would be affected, and they probably would have been affected. Well, Nitu is going to be beginning their lap right there on the track. Who do we have on the board to go better than their time? Do we have anybody getting better than their time? Mickey got better previously, only 0.08 of a second better, but less than the pole position time there, and they go 2/10 down, but GT will go over the line and he'll go quickest of them all because he gets pole position. Well, Mickey was 0.08 of a second less than a 10th down on Chapman, but now both of them will have to gain a couple of tenths to get better than GT, who's put it on pole and the fastest time of the session so far. What about Numti Ned? He's currently in P11, up over to the line. They do improve, and up to P6 they go. 130.6 so far. What about a driver right behind coming over the line now? And that's going to be Jones, who actually had a bit of a big moment on their earlier laps, and I think that definitely would have compromised this lap of theirs. 133.8, which I'm definitely sure, certainly, you know, they can do better than that, certainly. But so as it is, obviously we're going to be getting, you know, qualifying, 15 minutes of qualifying session, and then we'll move over to a 25-minute race, and then reverse grid of that. We'll have another 25 minutes race, which would pretty much see us go racing, and certainly we'll have some fun out on the track. While is One Poro Hood having fun? Maybe not. They're still stuck in P7 so far, and able to improve on at least on this lap. What about their teammate RLD, who's down in P13, and along with Nitu, they both haven't got a time on the board so far. Or maybe they have, but we just can't see it since they're both are coming into the pits. One is exiting and the other is coming into the pits right there. So that could be an interesting thing. And looking at this one so far, I mean, GT is the top of the timing charts. GT is over 10th ahead of Chapman, who's out on another lap, currently making his way through the middle sector now. So certainly, are we going to see Chapman get better and improve on their previous time? Well, Numtined has improved on their time at the moment. How is Chapman going to be doing at the end of the middle sector? Goes for them a 10th quicker than their previous time in the middle sector there. This could say something. This could say a couple of things about their lap right there if they are to go over the line and still keep up the time that they have been improving by so far, at least in that middle sector. Around the final few corners they go, run a little bit wide on the curb, but how good will this one be as they nearly lose it in on the exit of the final corner? And despite that slide, they'd still go over to the top of the timing charts and take pole so far. 129.947. That lap could have been at least 2/10 quicker than the GT's there, had they not at that moment. And despite on that moment on the exit of the final corner, he still has got the fastest time of the session there. Now the game is certainly on. 129.947. New drivers. Remember, Chapman only came in last week, so he's relatively new driver here at us here with us at Apex. So certainly he's found the time and definitely challenging the older guys. Elder in terms of experience, obviously racing here with Apex, GT, Mickey, and actually out of the top 4, it is 3 of the new guys in there. All 3 new guys in the top 4. That is interesting to see. So definitely, we don't not only have new drivers, but we might have new fast drivers. That is, and definitely nice thing to see right there. What about Monte Carlos? Do they find an improvement? Yes, they do, as they move over to the top 3. That is a brilliant lap. He's definitely seeing some new names at the top then. Maybe not only the newer drivers, but also those who might have not been in, who might not have been in the top from qualifying sessions throughout the season so far. Well, Jones still in P7, 130.8 from them there, while Nimti is in P6 right there. As a couple of drivers, pretty much everybody now on their second runs, 11 minutes have passed, 11.5 minutes have now passed, so not a lot remains, less than 5 minutes right now remain in the qualifying session. So those out on the track know that either they do it now or maybe not yet. Need to, and RLD, both drivers unable to post a time just yet. Smoke Dog improves a little bit, 30.9 from them. Will be P10. What about Need2, another driver who was he was fastest in that practice session. What about in qualifying here? That performance hasn't yet reflected, but it narrowly did, but still not enough, as they're about 2.5 tenths slower than the fastest time of the session so far. 130.1 from them. What do we see from Mickey there? But they are on the outlap right at the moment, while the one behind them, Lisandro, who joined us only a couple of weeks ago as well. So interesting to see. I think a lot of drivers are in the mix here in this qualifying session. Who's going to be the next driver for us to go over the line? That'll be Monte Carlos, who'd be starting their final, not their final lap, but certainly would be their final lap at the moment, 12.5 minutes. So now pretty much whoever it is, either you're in the pit lane or you're out on the track doing a lap in, you're trying to improve, get better than your previous time as it stands. Well, C Jones, one part of Wood, and C Jones, both the drivers would be going over the line to try and find an improvement, but actually they're just on a out lap, so that is interesting. Well, one part of Wood comes into the pits and goes out again, so that is now going to be pretty much everybody who goes over the line. Certainly drivers would now be getting into their final runs, their final laps out on the track. What about RLD? They're just going to be starting their final, that won't be their final lap actually, but simply you'd call it that final lap, because certainly they've got, probably by the time they come to the end of this lap, they'd certainly take the checkered flag pretty much. What about GT? At the moment, they haven't. They're in P3 at the moment. They're out on the track, 3 tenths down on the fastest time of Need2, while we were waiting about others, and that is Need2 who goes top of the timing there. While we were focused on all the other things in the world, it was Need2 who comes in and puts a lap to go fastest of everybody in the session. A very late lap, as I was saying before the started qualifying session. Need2 certainly has got a decent chance with the lap he put in that practice session. He brilliantly has done so. But you never know, though, how much does Chase Chapman improving by in this at the end of this middle sector, because that could tell us a lot right there. And they're not improving. They are not improving. They haven't got enough fuel unless they're going to go again, and they'd have enough time to make it to the line and not take the checkered flag. Otherwise, Need2 seems to be locked in for the moment. Obviously, I know that's not true, and certainly everybody around will challenge him. So will Chapman, who is possibly going to be starting another lap right there if this is his final lap. That's pretty much going to be the end of it, and then yep, he's quite slow, and it might be his final lap, I'm not sure though. Well, there's a lot of drivers who go over the line, and that's a GT who's just made their way over the line to start the final lap, while RLD has managed to put it P3, has pushed GT down, and GT comes, oh okay, that is Not sure what is going on there then eventually, because definitely something's wrong right there, unless it's wrong with their pings, or not sure what exactly is going. Yep, GT and RLD, both of them are having issues out there. But the qualifying is now over. Alessandro has found their fastest time. Who will be the driver next one over the line? That'll be Juan Paravert. He's currently in P11. Certainly has pretty much struggled throughout the session, you'd have to say, here in the qualifying. So only a couple of drivers who are going fast right behind them, while RLD is currently coming out of the pits, but I doubt they'd be able to complete the lap. Well, one man who would be able to complete the lap will be Juan Paravert. Do they find something better than their previous best time? If not better than everybody, can they get better than themselves? Yes, they can. So just get up ahead of C-Jones, I believe, and up into P10, while the next car who'd be closer to the finish line is going to be in front of your screen now. That'll be GT, who's going to be an interesting feat to look at. Have they found a time fastest of everybody? Have they found a time faster than their own? And no, they haven't, with that 5 tenths of penalty, which I'd assume they would have run a little bit wide. Has certainly cost them there, and pretty much that's the end of qualifying session now, as the checkered flag has fallen, and we've got to the end of it, ladies and gentlemen. Qualifying is over. Yep, black spike is as you said. I think that probably would have been the case, because it was certainly. I'm not even sure whether even RLD was there on off track or not. But then look at the results. Let's have a look at the results, ladies and gentlemen. Nitu took pole. One thing would be interesting to see whether they could convert that pole position into a race win, though, because that's going to be very important for them to do. So Chapman in P2, a fantastic second place qualifying session just in the second race right here. What about RLD? Currently in P3 as well, just ahead of GT, who on their final lap just wasn't able to do enough to move forward. While Monte Carlos put a decent lap actually in P5, while Smokey Tom in P6, ahead of Numtined in P7, and Mickey in P8. In the bottom 5, it is Alessandro in P9 with Juan Paravert in P10, Jones in P11, then comes Smoke and Wolf Club, the two sorry, they're not teammates actually, Smoke and Wolf in P12 and 13. So let's not waste any time, as we should be getting into 18 laps of racing right there, which actually should see us 25 minutes of racing for race 1, and whatever happens in there will be reverse grid of race 2. So that could eventually be certainly will be interesting, in my opinion, as we're just waiting for everyone to get ready, for teams, for drivers, and everyone to simply be ready and show us what they can do, as it is currently just waiting. I think we're getting ready, and as soon as we are ready, we will have everything in control. And drivers might want to check their tires, might want to check their strategies of where they want to start, but as soon as they start, then there is no backing down, else they will have to come to the end of those 18 laps. Not once, but certainly twice. Although before the second one, they'll get another chance, but eventually if they don't, this is a pretty good chance. So check your tires, check everything you've got in control, and certainly you'll start as soon as possible. So now, the drivers starting in the top 5, let's say. Chapman and E2 will have a good fight. I think RLD would not leave these guys behind, along with GT. It would be interesting to see whether Monte Carlos follows up with these guys or not, because if he certainly does, that could be really interesting. And there we go. We should be out on the track now, and in fact we are out on the track. We should be we should get the 5 lights to go out and racing to begin. Well, we have Nito on pole, Chapman in P2, and RLD in P3. It's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 red lights are out, and we go racing here at the Red Bull Ring. And I think that might have been a jump start by GT, and he's certainly going down there. He certainly got a jump start for sure before the lights went out. It's a pretty decent start by Nito, but he goes absolutely wide, so maybe not. But Chapman's going to come right behind in that GT-R, and they've all gone towards 10-2 and 10-3, as it's going to be 3 wide almost in towards 10-3, as RLD's going to go on the inside of Chapman. Or does he go on the inside of Chapman? Yes, he does. He might run a little bit wide, but he does not. Chapman's going to be around the outside. He might have the opportunity to stick around while Nito's lost out. Monte Carlos has managed to jump up Nito as well, as Mickey's in P5. GT has taken a big dip there then. While Empty-Net is in P6, GT is down in P12. Not sure what exactly happened. They certainly almost did a jump start, and after that, they've only been falling behind. Are they now going to try and get past Jones there? Will they get past Jones? Not quite sure, as we're just looking out through the grid. A lot is happening while Chapman has been overtaken by RLD right there, and RLD has taken the lead before the end of lap 1. That is brilliantly done, but Chapman might come back at him there, as he's almost going to go switch to the side-by-side of RLD to get past him, and he has got him past him there. That is brilliant. Racing to go while Monte Carlos runs a little bit wide. There might be an opportunity for Monte Carlos to get past him, as well as Monty's going to head towards the wall. He's going to nearly take out... Oh, he almost nearly took out Mickey there. That could have been nasty. As I was saying, it's going to be interesting to see what Nito and Monty are gonna do so far in this race. I think Nito just has managed to keep P4 to himself by with a challenge from Empty-Net right behind. Well, Monte Carlos made a mistake in front of your eyes there, but so this is now going to be interesting battle. Both. I was supposed to say teammates, but no, actually both the new drivers, we shall say, Chapman and Mickey, are in the top 3, 1 and 3, the 2 drivers and the 2 new drivers, but RLD is certainly not going to leave Chapman behind. Chapman, remember, has actually had a couple of opportunities maybe previous week, but couldn't convert it into a victory. Can they do it now? They've certainly got a lot bigger opportunity, and also it looks more realistic now in terms of, I think whether they can get it or not, that's another take, but you know, at the moment they've got Chapman, RLD, Mickey, but certainly he's keeping them behind, at least for the moment, though. At least he's they're on the same tire, apart from Mickey, who's on the soft tire, while Chapman and RLD are on the same exact tire. So they've definitely got, at least in terms of strategy, unless you're trying to undercut or overcut one or the other driver, there isn't much you could you could really differentiate from these drivers, while Mickey right behind these guys, who's on a set of soft tires, should certainly have a better opportunity, and I think it is his opportunity right now, because he's on those softer compound tire, and he certainly should be faster than those ahead, and if he is to take any advantage of those tires, it has to be right there, and he's already putting those fast sectors there, while Nito is in P4. Meanwhile, Empty-Net and One Parawood are fighting each other, and a lot is happening. What do you guys want to see, the racing at the top or in the midfield? Because a lot is happening. Remember, wherever you finish in this race, you get points. So as long as you finish, you will be awarded points. Unless you do to get out or DNF, you won't be, but as long as you're out on track and finish behind these guys, doesn't matter how many seconds or laps behind you finish, you'd still be getting those points that are going to be awarded for the back position, while Jones is in P12, just right behind GT, who's still unable to get past Wolf Club, who's in P11, and now the racing at the top still looks the same, while Mickey is looking very closer, and actually ever closer to RLD there, so he might try and get past him there. He hasn't been able to do so just yet, but we could be getting that. We could be getting that Mickey get past RLD there, and as I said, you know, their tyres are pretty much going to be the usage here. We're into lap 4 out of 18, so you have to take calculations as he runs a little bit wide, but so does RLD. Both of them are almost going to, almost Mickey followed RLD there in terms of running a little bit wide, while Chapman looks okay and smooth so far, a second almost ahead of RLD, who's got Mickey right behind him. So this could be interesting here, but I'm in the likes of oh, there's a car. Okay, that might have been actually a big spike again. As almost saw I almost saw there was a car that goes back or into the barriers, but certainly it did not. But looking at other parts as well, what about, I'm sure we've got the fight at the front, but certainly it's not looking likely that it could be, though. I mean, it could turn around any time and Mickey could get past, but you never know. The D2 now is arriving up at the back, but I'd certainly believe that there'd be other drivers fighting each other at the back of the field, and Jones has got past, or no, GT and Jones both have got past a couple of drivers there, as Lissandro is right behind Jones there. Carl might have the opportunity to stay ahead of Lissandro there, or really stay ahead though, because easy chance could form up for Lissandro to get past the Lamborghini driver. That could be now interesting as he defends the inside line, or rather the racing line there into the last two corners. This could be shaping up there as he runs a little bit wide. It's going to be Lissandro, or will it be Jones, who's going to be up ahead of one another into turn one. He switches to the side, has got the inside line into the next corner. He's going to go for it on the inside, or he's going to stay around the outside. Well, Jones absolutely goes wide, but certainly defends and just does enough to defend their position so far. Brilliantly they have done so, and as far as positions at the top are concerned, are actually exactly the same as well. We're into lap 5, we'll head into lap 6 at the end of this one, so we'd pretty much enter the 1/3 of this race. But that too, not yet. 7/10 now between RLD and Chapman, which was almost 1 second at one point, and now look at that. RLD is gaining on Chapman as well, so sorry, on Mickey's, or oh, actually that is interesting, and you know why he's gaining on it. Mickey's got a penalty, so Mickey will need to slow down at the next penalty serving area, and he does slow down there, which may allow Nita to get closer, because the top 3 fight or a top 2 fight might turn a top 4 fight here, as Nita will be arriving soon as well. Well, one Paravud, despite not so good of a qualifying, finds himself in P5 there, starting on the softer compound tires, and making the most of it out there. Well, the top drivers are as it is, along with those behind, but this could be now interesting between Smoke and Tom there. Both Smokes actually, one is Smoke Dog, the other is Smoky Tom. So 2 Smoke drivers. Who's going to be smoking one, or who's going to be smoking the other driver by overtaking them? We haven't got that answer just yet, but we might just have it very soon. While at the back, GT still in P9 ahead of Lissandro and Monty along Monte Carlos, with Wolf, and Jones is down in P13 and still on those medium compound tires, so he certainly might have just made a mistake there, as it's a certain race, I mean, going at the moment, you know, in terms of tires, medium tire runners are certainly, and look at that. Look at the difference between Chapman and RLD, the 2 drivers. It's not massive difference, but still the front tires, especially the rear front left tire, it is a lot, has got slightly more usage. Sorry. Okay, I hope I was. Yes, I was correct, and especially in fact, both tires actually, apart from both front tires are rather more, have got more wear on Chapman's car than they have got on RLT's car. Both have got the medium tire, and yep, Mickey's tires are now dropped down by quite a margin there. You could definitely see that visible, as those tires, definitely tire wear would have dropped, but Nitu, who's on the medium tire, is definitely getting closer and has got ever closer to Mickey there to get past him. Bolted, I remember, Nitu made a slight mistake and lost the lead even before the end of lap 1, so that was a lot. While Smoke is still ahead of Smoke. Smokey is still ahead of Smoke, so that is certainly one thing to look at. Same goes for GT and Lisandro, but Numtined looks like he might have been he might have made a mistake. Yep, we can see those bumpers flashing red. That means even if they don't have the damage, they might have lost the car and collided with the barriers there, which definitely would have certainly compromised their race, or at least their progress in this race, while ones ahead of them would be still staying ahead of them so far. So lap 7 out of 18 now. Chapman still leads by over 9/10. I mean, we aren't really getting much action right here, but I feel like drivers are just taking it. You know, drivers are just taking it as they like. Drivers are simply, you know, getting it through, and eventually, as it gets interesting to see, getting a lot of support for Mickey. Actually, that's nice to see. In the comments, hope you're enjoying all of this, but Mickey, so far at least, it doesn't look good for him. His tires have drastically fallen down as compared to the top 2 drivers whose tires are in better conditions. But I think anyways now, only in a few laps, time for a pit stop would come up for Mickey, and despite falling quite behind for a couple of laps, Mickey out of nowhere puts the fastest fair sector there. That is interesting. Was Mickey saving up on something? Was Mickey just cooling their tires off? Because sometimes the tire temperatures could get to you as well, because that's going to be interesting. Oh, they run a little bit wide into turn 4. They certainly have they? Because that spike is actually quite making it difficult to see. But the gap between Niti and Mickey at the moment, 1.8 seconds between the 2 drivers. Both of them over 2 seconds right behind our race leader. And so far, 6/10 between RLD and Chapman. Both of them are not yet fighting each other, at least. And I feel like, anyways, you know, as soon as the first pit stops are over our way, the mandatory pit stops, everybody's got their tires, everybody's got their fuel. Only then you'd pretty much see everybody fighting for positions, which at the moment they just will not be doing so. So definitely watch out for that, as One Parawood is into the pit lane now. The first driver to pull the trigger to get off those soft compound tires. While Monte Carlos is sliding around a little as he'll get past Numtined there, and Numtined will make the move around the outside of Carlos, as Carlos has actually came in. No, that's not actually Numtined, that is Monte Carlos, who has been overtaken by Numtined as he nearly goes into the back of Numti. But that was a spike once more. I'm not sure what's wrong with the spike though, because at the top it's not a lot, but as soon as I switch to the guys at the back, you see a little bit of it. Will Monte Carlos come back at Numtined on the inside line into turn 4? He's got the opportunity to make the move. He'll certainly send it on the inside line of turn 4, but he runs a little bit wide. Will that allow Numtined to come back at him? That will not allow Numtined to come back at him there. They'll stay where they are, and Monte has taken the position back. Nearly slightly having worse condition than Numti's tires. Numti will now go on the inside into turn 4, because, you know, that is not really the best corner to overtake, even if you attempt. Alessandro's in P9 with Smoke in P10, Wolf in P11, Jones is in P12 with One Parawood in P13, but he has made his pit stop so far. What about Mickey? Is he going to be heading into the pits? He's definitely got nothing on those tires right now, and he will head into the pits right there to get off those soft tire compound, and would jump over to the medium tire, understandably. So lap 10 out of 18. We're past the halfway mark of this race so far, and I think, as I said, overtakes and position switches would possibly happen after the first stops, after the pit stops are over, and then drivers would certainly push. But also, this is probably in the ending laps, I'd say, because even those within 1 second or within half a second of each other are not really fighting each other. Or maybe if you are Numtined and Monte Carlos, you might want to fight each other off there, and especially if you're Numti, you'd like to get past Monty there, which he's just not able to do right now. But it's interesting. I mean, at the moment, this is pretty much the only battle that we have right now, don't we? Apart from the top two, that could be interesting as well. Actually, the top two drivers are in. Both of them look on decent tire wears, but especially if, as far as tire wear is concerned, at least the front tires. The rear tires, there's not much difference in terms of wear that we are seeing, but Dylan's front tires certainly look in a bit of a worse condition than is. Ooh, that's a little bit, you'd have thought again he's going to go a little bit wide, but maybe he hasn't done so right there. What about RLD? Certainly he's going to possibly be thinking to not make a move just yet. I mean, he's closer. I'm not saying that he can't make a move or he just can't make a move whenever he wants, but still he's got enough gap, and if he gets a better corner exit sometime soon, he could easily try and get past Chapman there, but he's simply holding himself just back just yet, I'd say, which could be a lot of reason, could be strategies, and I think certainly he's not yet trying to do. Now this is ever closer to the top two. Maybe RLD is at us from the gums box there. They might try and get past Chapman there, or will they try and get past Chapman? Chapman might run a little bit wide. You'd have thought they're going to run a little bit wide, but maybe not. What about Nitu? He's in P3 with a penalty. Should be coming into the pits at the end of this lap. Same pretty much goes with Tom, but I think Tom might come a little bit lap or two later, maybe probably on the next lap. Same goes for GT. They've got just enough fuel to come in, while Mickey is now in P8 at the moment, while the top two are still going at it, and both of them are going to head into the pits. Now this could be interesting on the pit exit, because if one takes more fuel than the other, I think that would certainly make it or break it in here on a track where not many drivers have managed to overtake or managed to switch positions right here. We could switch in the pits between Chapman and RLD. Who's gonna be coming out better than the other? Tires are off, old tires off, new tires on. And I'd assume they'd be on a set of softs rather than a set of mediums, which obviously it'll be showing just right now since they put it on those tires. But what are we going to be getting? The fuel is out, and RLD is out of the pits, and he's got out ahead of Chapman. They've nearly got same amount of same amount of fuel as well, but just a little bit, just by only a few inches or millimeters, whatever you want to measure it in. RLD's got less fuel than Chapman, and those few liters or few drops of fuel less drops of fuel has gained RLD a position there out of the pits exits, but Tom who'd be getting out of the way at the end of this lap. They're out of fuel as well. The top two will reunite with their top position, and now Nitu, who'd be on a set of softs, is out on the track on brand new softs, has jumped up over ahead of Mickey. I wonder if they've overtaken them, or they have simply overcut them on the exit of the pits there, and now he's on softer tires. It's the same as the top three, as well as native top three. Smokey obviously will get out of the way so far. What about drivers racing here? GT and one part of it. Both of them are currently out. Not within a second, just 1.1 seconds the gap between the two. Empty net in P9, right behind Monte Carlos. Scott Lissandro, Smoke, Jones in P12, with Wolf Club in P13. So now looking at this, the top two are back to where they were before the pit stops, and they're on their own positions there. I think Mickey, who was challenging for the top, at least the top two or the top three for podium earlier, now is over 4 seconds down on Nitu. Maybe they might have just stayed out a little bit longer, might have just stayed out a lap or two longer, and sometimes that's the way. Overcut does not work for him. Well, good. for him at all, and I think that might have been the case right there. Well, RLD looks strong and leads the race so far. Will that allow? That might have been RLD getting a little bit too close for comfort for him to be still leading. He certainly is still leading, but not yet. Four tenths between the two. Chapman, who was leading the race so far from pretty much from the start of the race. As soon as he got it, he had to till the pit stops in the pits. RLD did better than Chapman there, but you know, this could be interesting right out there, and this is getting ever closer. Chapman, who managed to hold off RLD for the longest of times before the pit stops, is going to be on his way to try and overtake RLD there. He's going to switch to the outside line into it, turn one, but RLD will just place his car beautifully to defend. But has it done enough though? Maybe not, as he's going to run a little bit wide on the exit of turn one, and they both will be side by side up through turn three. He will be later on the brakes. Chapman's got the inside line. He might get past him even before the braking zone, or has he though? He has not, but he'll certainly have the inside line, as RLD's just going to give him enough space around the outside, and on the inside Chapman gets past RLD and takes back the lead of the race. With only 4 laps to go at the end of this lap, he's definitely got a proper chance to take the win, and he'd certainly be looking for it after very good racing last week as well. Yeah, I believe he got 80 points or so, didn't he? Did Chapman in the previous race. On the previous race weekend, there's going to be a chance in round 7. We're here in round 8, race 1. It is RLD who might try and come back at Chapman. He certainly is not yet doing so, or is he though? Because this could be interesting, and exactly as I was saying, as soon as we have we are done with the pit stops and those final laps begin, we would surely see a fight for the lead, and we are seeing one here at the ending laps of racing so far. RLD will be putting all that pressure on Chapman. Chapman runs a little bit wide, but RLD might have done the same as well, but certainly he's going to be ever closer to him right there. Into turn 3, will there be an opportunity for RLD? I don't think so. I don't think he'll be close enough to be making the move, or will he though, because he might send it on the inside line. He does send it there, as Chapman now will have to give some space on the outside line, as RLD loses the car slightly as a bit of a moment, and he's going to push him wide. He's going to push him absolutely wide, and Chapman's lost it as he's spinning round. He's nearly done a 920 spin there, and that was both the drivers' bravery, commitment, and absolute no chance of backing out of either driver. He's going to drop down to P3 on the exit there. They were fighting side by side. RLD didn't back out, but so did Chapman, and that was always going to end in a bad way. Certainly it's turning out good for Mickey there, because now he was far away from the top drivers. He certainly got a chance at the top 3 and try and get ahead of Chapman. But what happened there? I mean, the fact that we caught it live, we caught it on screen of what exactly went wrong. Wow, now look at this. I think now Mikey might have a chance at Chapman as well. 7 tenths between the two drivers. Well, Need2 has actually managed to pull away. Sure, he's 2.4 seconds behind RLD. Certainly, these tires might not be in a bit of a good condition, but at least Need2's got a chance of a P2. You know, let's go back to Spa, where he got a pole position, but he definitely did not have a race that was pleasing, and he raced to forget. Certainly out there, so definitely I think as compared to that, so far at least, he's doing a brilliant job by looking at the other race.
other positions and other drivers in this race. GT is in P5, right behind Mickey. Smoke Tom is in P6, with Monte Carlos in P7, while we see One Parawood is in P8, only 2/10 behind Monte Carlos. He might be going for a move right there around the outside in a 10-4. Could there be an opportunity for One Parawood to get past him? This could be opening up new doors, or is it? Because by the looks of it so far, Monty has just done enough to defend his position and is not yet gonna allow Numpty Ned to get past him, or will he get past him there? Because look at this then. Oh, sorry, that's not Numpty Ned, actually, that's One Parawood. If I've called the wrong names, apologies about that. One Parawood will have the opportunity to get past Monte Carlos, while Numpty Ned is right behind, fighting with Lisandro, potentially with a move for P9, for position for fight for P9 will Smoke at Jones, but the two teammates are down in P11 and 12, with Wolf Club, who's in P13. RLD in P1, still leading by 2.7 seconds. Chapman still stays in P3 with Mickey, who's in P4, but he could be in lots of trouble from GT there in these remaining two final laps. GT and GT might have a go on Chapman as well. GT's got the soft tyres along with Chapman, but certainly Chapman's tyres are not in good conditions, as good as GT's, at least the front tyres. Actually, GT's tyres are almost similar conditions, both front and rear, but he's at least got the front tyres that he's going to need for grip. While Mickey's almost sends it on the inside line and nearly goes into the back of Chapman there, but just has to back out in no time, and just does well for the moment. As RLD 2.6 seconds he leads by, he's going to head towards the final lap of the Grand Prix, the final lap of this race, which would certainly mean not... I mean, it's nice in terms of what's going to be happening, but look at this. So far, Need2 is over 3.2 seconds out of the next car, while Chapman is in P3, but he is in big trouble, I'd say. It's a final lap. You could do expect Mickey or GT to overgo at one another, and I think Mickey will do it, give it everything to try and take the podium from Chapman there. Did he tap Chapman there on the back? He slightly had a bit of a movement from the rear of his car. Mickey's got all the chance he needs to, while Chapman goes defensive on the inside line. Mickey's going to hold the outside line. I'm sure Chapman's not going to leave him at all. He's definitely going to be trying later on the brakes. Chapman runs a little bit wide. Mickey might go a switcheroo there. He's going to be on the inside. He might try and get the better exit on Chapman, and they're still going to be side by side. One more opportunity will be opening up into it. Stand 4. Mickey's got the inside line. Chapman's got the outside line. Who will be the better driver to go into it? Mickey might go a little bit wide. No, he doesn't. He gets the braking zone beautifully there, and he still stays ahead of Chapman. Remember, this is the final lap of the Grand Prix. This is all or nothing. This is all or nothing right here. While we have somebody spun round at the back of the field, but at the moment, this is the front ears of the field is what we're going to be focusing on. Looking at this, Mickey has still got the job done so far, while RLD is going to be just making his way around the final corner now, and he's going to stand on the top step once more and wins race 1 here at the Red Bull Ring, takes victory ahead of Need2, who qualified on pole but will get P2, and he surely will be happy with that, while GT and Chapman might have a chance there. Well, Mickey, for his first race here with Apex Racing of this season, comes home in P3 with a brilliant podium, and after a lot fight, nearly considered a winner or race lead chance for him at the front. Chapman, this incident with RLD, still a P4 is a decent result, while GT in P5, followed by Smoke in P6. Monty is in P7, a decent result for him as well. One Parawood in P8. Well, Numpty Ned and Lisandro complete the top 10 with P9 and 10. Smoke and Wolf in P11 and 12, while Jones they haven't actually taken the checkered flag yet. But what a race. Ooh, that's going to be Jones. He's definitely struggling there, and he makes another contact with the wall. He's got nothing on those tires. And do you know why? He's spinning around. Definitely might have not been able to manage those tires nicely. Well, Wolf Club has taken the checkered flag as well. and absolutely brilliant. I mean, at least at the end, that was fantastic, and especially brave racing from Chapman and Mickey both to trust each other, a level of trust, and going at it. And brilliant as it is, as Mickey gets that podium, and well done to them, and congratulations to our top drivers and RLD as he steps on the top step once more. Brilliantly done by everybody right there. So now I think we'll just be moving to race 2 in a few moments time, but before that, so it'll be reverse grid of whatever happened in this race. So RLD won ahead of Nito in P2 with Mickey in P3. They'll be the bottom 3 of the next race. But some of these results, I think brilliant racing from everybody. Chapman gave it his all, but unfortunately that incident with RLD meant his race was pretty much compromised. I think still a P4 is certainly a very good result. While GT, you kept fighting in that top 10, as Bot got himself in P5, and Tom, remember, racing for the first time here as well, also got a P6, so that is a nice result. All 3 new drivers who've just recently joined us in the top 6 is a brilliant entry for them. While Monte Carlos in P7 with 1 Parawood in P8. Numptined in P9, Losandro in P10. Smokes in P11 with Wolf Club and Jones in P12 and 13. I mean, Jones might have not had a very good race, but he'll be starting at the front of the field and at the very front ahead of everyone, so you'd never know. Do see them in shines, and as the drivers say, they need a few minutes. So these were your results from race 1, ladies and gentlemen. It'll just be a couple of minutes before we get started. It'll just be a few minutes before we move on to race 2, and we will be back as soon as we're out on the track.
we should be getting the race soon now, as soon as the grid is ready, as soon as the drivers are ready to go out on track. Do we actually have somebody out on the track right now? I don't think so. Yeah, nobody is. Only 5 of them have just yet joined. But as soon as everybody is in, the grid gets set up, we get started for race 2. But I think a brilliant end to race 1, and it was definitely a good one to... Especially if you compare both halves. I see the first half of the half before the pit stop, especially till lap 10 or 11. Until everybody made their pit stop, they were taking it smooth, they were taking it easy, and as soon as those pit stops were out of the way, they pretty much didn't have to worry about... Surely you had to worry about a bit of tire management, but as long as it wasn't a big issue, they weren't really taking much care of it. And there we go, ready up is what we've got right here. So we should be getting on to racing once more for race 2. We got over race 1 and race 2 is all we have remaining right here. As soon as everybody is ready, as soon as things are ready, the racing will start. And you know what we're going to be looking at right there. Jones does a lot of the times is very good, and especially in those second races of the grid spot. So maybe race 1, I mean, he obviously didn't have a good time and maybe wasn't enjoying himself, but I think he's got all the opportunity right now. If he is to able to get a better start, if he's able to certainly do a better job than his race 1, he would definitely have a chance, at least if not for a race win, race podium would be on the way. And there we go. Time is up then, as we're getting the ready up notifications for quite a while now, but we haven't yet started. But so far as it stands, the grid pretty much looks ready then. Right here, looking at our results from the previous race, RLD in P13. So far, this is where we're going to be getting Jones on pole from the reverse grid of the previous race. The race is about to start. Wolf in P2 and Smoke in P3. The chemistry teammates have got a brilliant chance now with Lisandro in P4 and Ned in P5. Actually, I'm missing Ryan Cooper this weekend with it. And there we go. Without wasting any time, let's get out on the track and have a look at this stand. Last time out, GT didn't get a good start. So Jones on pole ahead of Wolf Club in P2. The front row is set with Smoke in P3, followed by Lisandro in P4. Is this all gonna come on down to this now? We're ready to go racing in round 2. It's gonna be 5 red lights and we go racing here in the Red Bull Ring in race 2. It's a brilliant start for Wolf Club ahead of Jones, who's lost out who's actually just lost out to Wolf Club. As towards turn 1 we go. Both of them are slightly gonna run wide as
Wolf Club slightly hits Jones there as they're almost going to make contact once more. Jones comes back out on the track and takes the lead of this race so far. Leads in towards turn 3. Who will it be taking? Who will it be who's going to come back on this? Lisandro might try and go on the inside, make it 3 wide into turn 1. Will it be 3 wide there? This is more than 3 wide, and it's absolute chaos in towards turn 3. This is absolutely happening here. While Wolf Club's now going to be in a bit of trouble from not one, but many drivers, as Lisandro, one per wood, Mickey, everybody's got past him, as Chapman's right behind as well, I believe, in P5 of Wolf Club. Certainly a lot of chaos is happening right there, as Wolf Club is on the inside, while 3 wide, it'll be Mickey, Lisandro, and Wolf. Who's going to be better out of all 3? It might have to be Lisandro, or is it as Chapman's going to go for on the inside line? Is he through? Goes Chapman there. He sends it out of nowhere. We were waiting on those guys. He's going to take it, while it's almost like Carlos Sainz back at the British GP 2022 in Formula 1. He was running in the lead while everybody else was fighting behind. And look at that. Lisandro and Chapman have already made it towards P4, P2 and 3. Same goes for Mickey as well. He's in P4 and the soft tyre slightly goes a little bit wide. Might have had a moment. This could allow Smoke to get past him there in turn 1. The opportunity could be Smoke's, but is he going to send it on the inside? Well, Chapman might try and send it on the outside of Lisandro. Mickey's got the outside line. They're going to be fighting. They'll be side by side, but Smoke gets past Mickey there, or does he get past Mickey? They'll still be wheel to wheel. The action is still beginning while our leader is on their own. Chapman and Lisandro are going to have another go at it on the inside. Will Chapman go as he braked a little bit too late? That might allow Lisandro to come back at him. If Chapman's ran a little bit wide, he certainly has not. While Mickey and Smoke are going to be fighting each other again once more. They're going to be at it. Mickey got a P3 in the previous race, and from nearly at the back of the grid, he's made it up to P4 already. So certainly he's got the chance now to fight once again for this one, but he's got the challenge of Lisandro and Smoke, while RLD right behind as well in P6, followed by Smokey in P7, Numpty Ned in P8, GT in P9. A lot is happening at the back as well. One Parawood in P10, Monte Carlos on the inside, and D2, who's in P12, just ahead of Wolf Club. Actually, D2 hasn't been able to get a better start right there. Well, Nito's going to be around the outside. Might be an opportunity for him to get past, and he does get past there. He's certainly taken the chance, but look at that. Indeed, Mickey is still staying behind. Yes, he's still staying behind Lisandro there, but he's still staying ahead of Smoke at the moment. Meanwhile, as I was saying, Jones might have not had a good race 1, but at least so far he's leading by 1.7 seconds. Different tyres though. He's got the soft tyre for the race start, as compared to Chapman, who's got mediums, but Lisandro on the other end has got softs as well. So Lisandro might have the opportunity or a chance, because of those soft tyres, to get past Chapman there. But will that be taken? While Smoke is going to send it almost. I thought he's going to send on the inside, but he certainly definitely was not close enough to make that move. And at the front of the field, a lot of action is happening right now. So far, remember, this is only the start of this race. Is Mickey going to come around the outside to get past Lisandro there? He might try and get past Lisandro. He's going to be on the outside into turn 4. It's not a best overtaking place around here, but he will get past Lisandro. And into P3 goes Mickey. Will Smoke go for it now on the inside of Lisandro as well? Lisandro runs a little bit wide, and that'll allow Smoke to get past as well. That is brilliantly done, but Smoke might run a little bit wide. They could allow Lisandro to come back, but Lisandro, the only driver for Pures Racing tonight, is certainly so far has lost 2 positions in the span of a few corners. And definitely now, maybe in race 1, drivers were taking a little bit longer to get used to the track. Well, right now, it doesn't seem to be the case, because Mickey and Chapman, who fought in race 1, are going to be back to fighting in race 2. Only 2 tenths separating the 2 drivers on different tyres once more. Mickey's on a set of softs, similarly as race 1, while Chapman on medium tyres, same as race 1 as well. So some are going to choose soft, better tyres for the race start. Some are going to choose best tyre for race end. It's a strategy. It could be going anywhere. And out and about. Mickey could be in a bit of challenge by Smoke, though Smoke did get past Lisandro, but remember, he was challenging him. He was challenging Mickey to try and get past him. Both of them are on the same tyres, and Mickey might have ran a little bit wide. That could allow Smoke to get closer, but it doesn't seem to be the case, actually, just right here. Right out there, but... So now Chapman in P2 with Jones, and Jones in the lead so far, or is still leading by 1.7 seconds, so he's doing a brilliant job. He's definitely going to pit earlier than Chapman though, so he's going to have a medium tyre for the end of this race, but he's certainly got a good chance at that victory then, because, you know, all could go left or right so far, but at least as I mean, it seems to be the similar case, unless Lisandro wants to get past Smoke here. Maybe it's not the similar case from race 1. Lisandro could go for it on the inside into turn 1. Smoke's going to have to give him just enough space. Has he given him? No, as Smoke's going to run a little bit wide, but same goes for Lisandro as he takes on that sausage curb on the outside there, so that is not going to be an easy route or easy passing for Lisandro on Smoke. As I was before that, they almost made a overtake. I was about to say that. Tom in P7, Monty in P8, Monty and Numpty might be fighting each other right here. 4 tenths between the two. They're on the same amount of tires as well. The medium tire runners have got pretty good quality tires at the moment. GT is in P10 with one Parawood in P11. We'll need to in P12 as well by Wolf Club in P13. So yeah, ooh, the gap to the top has dropped down, and why wouldn't it? I think certainly depends on the tyres, and I think definitely it would be because of tyres, considering I think Jones has got his tyre wear quite a bit. Maybe those tyre temperatures could be ramping up right now, but I think, as I said, we'd see a lot of fight at the end of in that ending stint, but maybe not, because now Chapman's going to get overtaken by Mickey there. Are they almost making contact? Mickey's managed to make a move on Chapman, and at the moment Mickey's certainly flying, and you know how Mickey overtook him, as Chapman might have had a penalty, I believe, even earlier. He would have had to slow down for that, or maybe he didn't slow down for the previous one. He could have got another one, but certainly I believe he would have slowed down for his penalty serving, and that would have easily allowed Mickey to get past him. And now you know that Mickey is only 8 tenths behind Jones. Mickey could have a proper chance here in race 2 to take the race lead, and you know what it means. If you're going to take the race lead past lap 10, it could be a proper opportunity for you to take it to the end, for you to win the race, and a lot could come into play right there here towards the second half of the race. Obviously we're not even past the first half yet, and I think this is going to go even better for Jones. He's going to have to slow down for that penalty, and he's slowed down for it. Or no, he hasn't done so already. He'll need to do, and even with that slowing down, he's nearly getting overtaken already by Mickey, who's almost going to be by the side of Jones, and he's going to get past Jones there, as Mickey is going to take the lead in race 2 on lap 6 out of 18 into lap 7. Mickey takes the lead of the race. Gets past Jones, and now Chapman will get past Jones as well. Jones might be in a bit of a trouble from not Smoke, but actually Lisandro, who's right behind Carl as well. So this could all be going wrong, and it certainly is. Definitely that soft tire. They could have just used it a little bit more than everybody around them. And certainly that's going to be the reason, but still, is it going to be though? Because both of them are on the same tyre, side by side. On the inside lines has got Lisandro, and he will get past him as he gets the slightly better exit than Jones, and he's going to keep the position. Well, look at this at the back. Smoke Dog is having to defend from RLD, and Tom there. This could all be shaping up with an overtake and with a move up as well. Jones, RLD's going to go around the outside of Smoke, but no, that is not the case right there. Well, Tom could have the opportunity, but now RLD doesn't need to worry about anywhere outside or inside. He's going to get the move on the inside, which will be the outside line into the next corner, and Smoke's going to throw through it, and Jones is going to lose it, and very bad goes it for Jones from bad to worst, and he's definitely lost out. No grip on those tires, and he's in the grass. He was leading up there for up until lap 6, and his lead was taken up from him. Then P2, then P3, and all goes bad for him now at the moment. While Mickey and Chapman are separated by 6/10 by one another. Into lap 8 we go. Has Mickey learned from his previous mistake though? Or will he stay out? Will he stay out until his fuel is out? Which I don't think he can, or maybe he will. But remember, last time out, Mickey wouldn't have been on the podium if it wasn't for a incident between RLD and Chapman, which was unfortunate for Chapman. He's putting those fast first sectors, rapid first sectors from him there, but same goes for RLD. He's doing that as well. Remember, he's in P4. That could be interesting here, because if he is to make it up to the lead, he's certainly got the chance here, because definitely his soft tires are going to be maybe not feeling too good right now. But let's say Lisandro, apart from Chapman, everybody ahead of him is on the same tires as well, so they're all going to be pitting just after one another. So it really opens up the door now for a lead to RLD. Not win one race, but potentially win 2 races. That could mean over 100 points up for grabs, as a winner gets 50 points, remember. Still, I think a lot is remaining. We just nearly getting to the second half of the race, but still almost we're in the first half, so not a lot has passed in terms of laps in time. 6/10 separating Chapman and Mickey. Chapman is losing time, sorry, gaining time. Mickey's losing time in towards stand 4. On the main straight we are. RLD's into the pits, and definitely you know why, because Mickey's tires are going to be certainly not giving him any grip as good as he wants it to, and Chapman's on his way to get past Mickey there. Will he get past Mickey into turn 2 and turn 3? He's certainly got the outside line, as Mickey does very well to have the inside line to himself. I think he might just do enough to defend, or does he? Because round the outside is Chapman, and he will get past Mickey there. And he immediately goes defensive. He immediately goes defensive on the inside into turn 4. Even before that, he's immediately switched to the inside to defend into the next corner. But Mickey might have it go around the outside. He will, but it won't be enough as Mickey. But still, or will it be? Because Chapman hasn't completely got past Mickey there. As the opportunity and the overtake will be there for Mickey, but Chapman will not back out at all, despite being on obviously better tires. But Mickey, you have to say that he sure now has been overtaking, but he definitely did not lose as much time as Chapman would have hoped for, because as soon as he would have made the move in turn 1 or turn 3, you would have thought that he's going to leave him behind and not really fight him, which would have definitely allowed Chapman to pull away, but certainly that isn't the case just yet out there. So far at the moment, and considering lap 10 is now happening here from our race leader, so a lot still by the looks of it remains at least, but we've still got nearly half of the race remaining, 8 laps over, so out and about right here. Chapman leads ahead of Numti, GT, Wood, Monte Carlos and Nitu, all these drivers who are yet to pit in this race and so far are still out on track. Now, Chapman's got not a lot of fuel remaining. Does he still stay out? Eventually he does, because I think his tires definitely got enough life in them, and also fuel. He's got one more lap fuel, and definitely being on those tires, he certainly wants to do as many laps as he can on those, and only then he could move over to the new tires. Well, the two teammates, Numpty and GT, are within half a second of each other as well. They certainly have got the chance. They certainly have got an opportunity to move, to get past right there. Ooh, that was going to be interesting if they could have got past. They certainly haven't got past just yet. They've got enough fuel, and tires are in absolutely amazing conditions for GT there indeed. Not too bad for Numpty as well, so I think if fuel isn't an issue, these guys could almost nearly stay on these medium tires for more than half of the race there. They have done so, but interesting. I mean, the soft tire run is certainly screaming after probably lap 8, lap 9. Looking a bit. Chapman is definitely going to be coming at the end of this lap into the pits. His tires, especially tires, are definitely not really going to be doing much at all. And there we go, Chapman is in, so will be Numpty and GT. All these guys will follow. Everybody is, but what about those who have already pitted? Well, Nito will come into the pits, and RLD, the man, will take the lead. And look at this. So certainly everybody will pit, but now this is going to be your net leaders of this race, ladies and gentlemen. RLD leads ahead of everybody. He won race 1, and he's certainly looking to win race 2 as well. While Mickey, looking at this, Mickey GT is in between these guys, but oh, he's got out on new tires as well. That is absolutely brilliant now. All right, maybe not. Okay, RLD maybe will not be leading, while Chapman has managed to come out back into the race lead, and he certainly will be keeping that with RLD right behind him on medium tires. Mickey on mediums as well. Sandro along with GT and Tom. Everybody fighting all together right now. This could all be happening, and I think all could go either wrong or right here. It is lap 12 out of 18, and now you know how it was in race 1. Expect the same in race 2. Well, this could eventually be going right or wrong right here, with RLD in P2, Mickey in P3 so far, Zandro in P4, GT in P5, followed by Smoke in P6. A lot is going to be happening, while Jones, unfortunately, starting on pole after a couple of mistakes on the first half, is down in P11, but the top drivers are going to be at it. Chapman at least seems okay right now, but he has to fight RLD once again to keep that win. So maybe RLD's pressure could well be coming up on them soon, but I think they'd be actually okay, because they are immediate soft tires, and they've definitely got a lot of laps. Not many laps are remaining to be done, while Mickey is in P3 ahead of Lizandro, who could or could not potentially challenge him for P3, along with GT, who's right behind as well for Numpty Scott. So all these guys are on a brilliant chance, and have got a brilliant chance for an overtake or moves coming up soon, while these guys, while one Numpty Scott driver is at the front, the other is fighting as well. It was Numpty Ned is right behind Tom, but Tom, oh, that was a little bit wide going, Tom. That could allow Numpty to get past him. Numpty's got a penalty though, so he's gonna have to slow down anyways on that penalty area, but it doesn't mean that he's not going to overtake him right now. It doesn't mean he's not going to overtake them right there. So look at this. So far, Chapman is in 2.3 seconds, so he's only gaining on RLD. RLD 1.9 seconds to Mickey. Definitely both of them on the same tyres, medium for each, 1.9 so far. And at the moment, it's quite stable as well, that gap. What about Lisandro and Mickey? Could be a fight and a potential P3 up for grabs. He's going to be opening with GT. He's possibly going to have a chance to come back at it as well, while Smoke and Smokey are going at it, as Tom is going to have a little bit of a slide on the exit of turn 1, which is going to be an easy chance for Numpty now to get ever closer to him and try and get past Tom here. Will Numpty get past Tom into turn 3? On the inside line is Numpty. He might just get past Tom, and he will get past Tom. He had a huge moment on the exit of turn 1, went quite wide. And definitely that was enough. That was more than enough to lose in position. That was more than enough to him lose quite a bit of a progress. And certainly lost out a lot. Well, one Parrot in P9, Monte Carlos is in P10 with Jones, Wolf, and E2 down in P10, 11, 12, and 13. Our race leader is pulled away. Our race leader is pulled away over 3.1 seconds. But pretty much same as the gap between RLD and Mickey. Sure, 1.9 to 2 seconds is going left or right, but I think it's looking okay so far, while Lisandro is surely looking to grab that P3 from Mickey. He might have went for it almost right there. Well, same goes for GT as well. All three drivers separated by less than half a second to each other. It could all Mickey coming into play now. That 15 out of 13. The final 4 laps are all they've got. Final 4 laps are all they have right now to make it count. To make it come into play right there. Lap 3 out. Sorry, not lap 3. P3 is up for grabs right there. Will GT go for it on the inside line? He certainly will not. Right there, but you know, things could be going left or right already within a couple of moments, and it is getting darker. It is getting the night time. The sun is already set, I'd say, so just a few laps, just a few minutes before we have complete dark. Even if you do not have complete darkness, still it would be getting dark, and indeed is getting darker right here. So far as GT slightly makes a mistake, and GT's going to be heading towards the wall there, as he's just saved it enough in the gravel, and he made a mistake, slightly ran a little bit wide, and he's out of the podium race right there. Before we could even see them fight for it a little bit, they are out of it, while 6 tenths are separating by Lisandro and Mickey as well. And unless Lisandro's got something out of the box, Mickey, at least so far, looks okay, and looks like he's going to have it, or rather he has it at the moment. But that could change drastically, and that might be changing right here, as 4 tenths is the only 4 tenths the gap between these two now remains. Lisandro still not going for it. He's getting the fastest first sector. He's getting a very fast first sector. That could only indicate a couple of things right here. Well, these two are going to be at it. These two are going to be into it right there. That could be Lisandro. I think Lisandro is definitely going to try have a chance at it, though. I mean, I'm not saying he's going to dive bomb it, but at least he's going to give it a go, though. I'm sure he doesn't want to give it now. If he loses it, he probably, you know, be it now or never, maybe. But it's the kind of situation that he surely would give it a go, I'd say. Well, Nimtinet is in P6, Parrot in P7, Monte Carlos in P8, just ahead of GT. What a big moment at this exact corner, at this exact place a few laps ago, and that certainly lost his progress, while our race leader will head into lap 17, the second last lap of this race. RLD's got a penalty that could allow Mickey and Lisandro to fight, and they are indeed fighting each other right there rather than Lisandro, but that's going to be nicely done by Lisandro there as he overtakes Mickey. Mickey's actually got slightly better tyres than maybe Lisandro has, but there was not going to be enough, at least for the moment, for him to be keeping his position, and Lisandro going towards a podium finish here, which would be brilliant for Gr.3 Racing. Despite missing Ryan Cooper, they could get a chance. They could get a podium. I think that would help them in the team's championship right here. But will they get it though? That's a question of. That an answer will only be getting by a race finish, by the end of this race, as RLD has got a penalty, but I think it's going to be enough. 2.3 seconds to the next car, and not only the ones behind would have to get closer, but also would have to overtake as well, which I think are two different things. I'd say, like, you could be faster than somebody, but sometimes it's a lot you can't really, you know, overtake them, or simply they're a bit better defensive drive than you, or simply if their defensive work is brilliant. While now will be the time for Mickey, and it would pretty much be the now or never situation for the driver on your screen. The man racing for the very first time here with us at Apex Originals. He's going to go for it, or rather will he or no? Or maybe he's going to go for it around the outside. I don't think that would have been a place he would rather like to go to and make a move, as he almost would have been to like it there, but that would not be enough, at least right now, as we head into the final lap of this race now. As it is going to be RLD, who's 2.1 seconds ahead of these guys, while Chapman has got a brilliant 4.9 second gap, taking it nicely, as we would have thought Mickey's going to go for it on the inside. He didn't quite go for it, and then maybe he thought that, oh, I might just be close enough to try and go for a move. But 5/10s between these two, but I think Lisandro would have to just do defending now, but he might just do defend. He might just defend, do some good enough defending to keep his P3, but will he be able to do that? We are about to find out, because Mickey, who got podium in race 1, started outside pretty much the top 10 in race 2, would have got another opportunity. Would have taken him a while to get back to the top, and he certainly did. And the man on your screen, Chapman, he's tried it a couple of times, it didn't work out, but this time it certainly will, as he wins race 2 here in Austria in round 8, and wins and takes victory for the very first time here at Apex Originals Racing. RLD finished P1 in race 1, Phil finished P2 in race 2. Lisandro will get on the podium and make up for his teammate missing this race in P3. Mickey on a P3 and a 4 finish is a brilliant weekend for him as well. While one Pro jumps up over Smoke, Smoky Tom into Smoky Top's down, then while Monty's in P6 with GT in the end in P3 despite a mistake to send off his teammate in P8 with Smoke Tom in P9. Jones is just going to be going over the line to take. Oh, he's got no fuel. Or had he made a mistake though, because he's definitely lost out to Wolf. He's in P9 with Nito in P10, Jones in P11, followed by Tom. Not sure how many penalties that Tom had, because he's lost out many positions, and now both Smokes are going to be finishing at the very bottom. Smoke Dog in P12, it's Smoky Tom in P13. But that is going to be going to be to an end now. Well done to everybody, and well done to all these drivers. They've done a good job. And certainly, let's have a look at the results right there. Chapman finally gets a victory that he was looking for, even in round 1 of his here with us. He's got P1, takes finally a race win right here. RLD P1 and 2 would certainly be a fantastic weekend for him, with Lisandro back on the podium in P3, with Mickey in Mickey, sorry, in P4, will one Parawood in P5, brilliant for Apex Originals. Then Monte Carlos, he's got a P6 with GT and Numpty-Ned in P7 and 8, the two teammates. Wolf Club will be in P9, Nito in P10, with Jones, Smoke, and Tom in P12 and 13. So that's going to be the end of it. End of this, ladies and gentlemen. Brilliant racing from all of these drivers, and fantastic attempt and racing by all of these. So well done to everybody involved, and a brilliant job by all of them. And well done, even if they win, if they didn't, if they finish on the podium or they didn't, but certainly all of these guys did an excellent job. So that's going to be the end of it then, ladies and gentlemen, from all of us here at Apex Original Racing. And myself, Zabi. It's going to be a bye-bye. See you next week at another round. Adios.